In the fantasy football season, here's a few tight ends I think could have breakout seasons this year. The first guy, Cameron Brate of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So right here, Cameron Brate. He's been on this Buck team a while now, and we know Tom Brady likes targeting the tight end. And now with Rob Gronkowski and O.J. Howard out of town now, with Howard going to Buffalo and Gronkowski finally retiring for the second time, even though I don't think he's finished, is Gronk. I could see him mid-season or something, or in a playoff push, sign with this Tampa Bay Buck team. But anyway, right now, Cameron Brate's a guy who's been around for seasons, and we've seen some years where he had good receiving numbers put up. Last season, 30 catches, 245 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. So right here, this offense is loaded once again. You got Leonard Fournette in the backfield. You got the great receivers and Mike Evans, Chris Godwin if he's healthy this season, which he might be ready for week 1. Russell Gage, he was a good signing. And Julio Jones, that people forget about. If he stays healthy, I think he still can make plays and help this Buck team. So defenses, they're not going to be worrying about Cameron Brate, in my opinion. And right now, he's a tight end that definitely could be a breakout guy. And right now, he's going very late in fantasy drafts and undrafted in most leagues as well. The next guy's Pat Freiermuth of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Freiermuth last season, he was pretty impressive towards the end of the year. I know Big Ben Roethlisberger is retired, but Mitchell Trubisky, he always had a thing for the tight end as a security blanket. So last season for Muth, 60 catches, 497 receiving yards, and 7 touchdowns, which is pretty solid with a 2-point conversion. So this season, I think anywhere from 700 total yards for Pat Freiermuth, and probably 60, 70 catches once again, were 8 or 9 touchdowns. And right here, he's going anywhere from the 10th to the 11th round, this Pat Freiermuth. There's a lot of good tight ends, believe it or not, this season. But now he's going to be the number 1 guy over there from week 1 here. I know it's a new quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, whoever wins. But I think Trubisky will win that starting job coming out of training camp. But Pat Freiermuth, he's makes some plays. He's a guy that's got good speed. And a lot of defenses aren't going to pay attention to him, where they got to pay attention and stack the box with Najee Harris. You got Chase Claypool, who I think bounces back this season, and Deontay Johnson, who's one of the best possession receivers in the league. So right here, Freiermuth is a guy to work the middle of the field and be a solid tight end this season. I think he definitely has breakout potential, and I like him to be a breakout guy this season. Next guy's Gerald Everett of the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm big on Gerald Everett this season. Last year he was pretty impressive towards the end of the season with the Seattle Seahawks. And now he goes to Los Angeles. That's a high-powered offense and a team that a lot of people think could go deep in the playoffs or even make the Super Bowl, with the addition of Khalil Mack to go with Joey Bosa on that D-line, and just Justin Herbert being a great quarterback and the weapons he has with Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and now you add Gerald Everett to the mix here as a tight end who's got good speed, who's a good red zone threat, and he can make plays. So last season for Gerald Everett, 63 targets, 48 catches, 478 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns with 2 fumble losses. So this season going into the year, he's a guy that's going undrafted in some fantasy leagues. And going into drafts right now, to be honest, I'll be very confident if Gerald Everett was my starter. There's going to be games, where he's going to disappear, but then there's going to be games where we could see him put up 15, 20 fantasy points at a time here. He's just that type of talent. He just, for some reason, never really had the opportunity. With Los Angeles Rams, he was behind Tyler Higbee. And then last season in Seattle, they didn't really play him as much until the back end of the season. So right here, I like him in this Chargers offense. Defenses aren't going to roll coverage his way. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be a red zone target and open in the middle of the field. And we saw that with Jared Cook a little last season with Los Angeles. But now, Gerald Everett to the mix here. I think he's a better player than Jared Cook. And he could be a tight end that definitely breaks out this season. Next guy's Robert Tonyan of the Green Bay Packers. I know Tonyan's on the PUP list right now here in training camp. But he's a guy that definitely could break out. And someone's got to catch the ball over there in Green Bay. I know Alan Lazard on targets alone is going to have an opportunity. But Robert Tonyan, we saw it 2 seasons ago. He had a pretty solid year. Last year with injuries and just lack of production was a bad year, though. 18 catches, 204 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. But this season, I think he'll be a bounce back for him. But definitely health is his key. And right now, he's going undrafted, is Tonyan in most fantasy leagues. Only owned right now in 40% of leagues. So right here, With Adams out of town, with Valdez-Scantling out of town, they're going to need someone to catch the ball. And I think this season, Aaron Rodgers, he's going to rely on the tight end a little more here. And Tonyan's very capable of being a playmaker and a good red zone threat. So right here, Robert Tonyan, get him very late in your fantasy draft, and you got a potential breakout tight end this season. And the fifth and final tight end I have as a breakout, it's Austin Hooper of the Tennessee Titans. So Austin Hooper, it just didn't work out for him in Cleveland after he had that monster season a few years ago in Atlanta before he hit free agency. So last season, only 38 catches, 345 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. But now he goes to Tennessee, where Ryan Tannehill always liked targeting his tight ends. And we saw it a few seasons ago with Jonnu Smith, who had that big season in Tennessee with him. And then he left for free agency to go with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So right now, Anthony Furska, he's the tight end over there. But Austin Hooper is going to be the starter over there. And I think Austin Hooper has a big bounce back and a breakout type of year. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him have anywhere from 600 to 700 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns here for Hooper. And right now, he's another player going one of the last rounds of your fantasy drafts, or undrafted as well. He is only owned in 21% of fantasy leagues. So right now, with A.J. Brown gone, with Julio Jones gone in that offense, they're going to need guys to catch the football as well over there in Tennessee, even though I like the Robert Woods move and I like them drafting the rookie Burks. But Austin Hooper, he'll be Tannehill's security blanket. And like I said, Tannehill likes getting that ball to the tight end, and that's what he's going to do with Hooper. So I think Hooper has a bounce back and a breakout season this year. So that's a few tight ends I have as breakout candidates entering fantasy drafts in the season within the next few weeks here.